Hi there. My name's Les Gordon. I just wanted to take a little bit of your time just to explain to you the importance and, in fact, the joy of mathematics, believe it or not. As a pilot, as a business owner, and as a cryptocurrency entrepreneur, I use mathematics what seems like just about every minute of my day. And I'll explain a little bit about that in a few moments. But right now, I want to tell you that when I was in your year, probably right now, I was not a big fan of mathematics. Okay, so right up until year 11, mathematics was like, I couldn't really get into it. Until one day, I had a new maths teacher, and he was building a house, and he was actually asking us to calculate mathematically the type of house he was going to build. Would we make it a spherical house and maximize the surface area for the minimum amount of materials, or would it be rectangular or square? And we would calculate all of these things for him. And we went through the whole process of building a home. That really ignited my passion into mathematics and how it could be used in day-to-day life. And I hope maybe you'll get a little bit out of this too. So let me just give you a little bit about how that's gone on for me. And I moved from a really sort of average student in mathematics up to year 11 until that I was inspired by this teacher and in fact became a tutor for other students in mathematics by year 12. It's not that I became smarter, it's just that I became interested. And that is really one of the keys to learning, is to become interested and find a way where you can apply your learning into practical things, the things that you enjoy. For instance, I mentioned I'm a pilot. We use mathematics all the time. And yes, despite we have, fancy GPS navigation systems now and all of those things, when I'm coming in to land in an airplane and the wind is very important for the landing and takeoff of an airplane, they'll tell me that the wind is, coming from an angle of 330 degrees at say 15 knots, and the runway might be angled at 360 degrees or to the north, so that means the wind is coming from the left, and I can calculate using trigonometry. That may be something you haven't used in mathematics just yet. It's a little bit higher in high school, but using that trigonometry, I can calculate what is the crosswind component that I'm going to have to adjust for with the rudder so that we can get a landing right down on the center line, exactly where I want to place it. So the maths is going through my head even as I'm landing the airplane, or indeed taking off, or even navigating, because the wind is always pushing us away from where we want to be, and I can use trigonometry to in my head to understand how that actually applies. So the fuel loading, right? I need to make sure that that we have enough fuel, and that I don't put on so much fuel that the airplane lands over what's called a structural limit over its landing weight. We may not have enough distance to land the runway. So, you can see every part of the preparation, the actual flying, involves mathematics, and it's actually exciting. And if you can do it quickly in your head, then it just makes flying pleasurable. And it'll be the same if you go sailing or windsurfing. You can utilize that form of mathematics. Second part is, as a business owner, every day I got numbers to fill out and follow the numbers. Now, when you're a business owner, normally you have partners, and and sometimes sometimes people are not that truthful, and they can tell you all sorts of stories. But I can tell you one thing: numbers never lie. And if you can learn to read numbers, the numbers will tell you the truth. They will tell you the story. So numbers never lie. You can depend on them. Okay, and then the last one is, I'm a cryptocurrency entrepreneur. You may have heard of Bitcoin. Now, this is really interesting because the way that cryptocurrencies work on a minute-by-minute basis, we're talking about compound interest. We're talking about returns that can be hundreds or thousands of percent in one night. Right, so it's really quite incredible, and there are actually quite a number of teenage Bitcoin millionaires out there that have actually learnt to utilize the compound interest of cryptocurrencies. Now, I'm not advocating that you go out and spend some money on cryptocurrencies. What I'm saying is, if you understand the mathematics, whatever age, you can make a lot of money if that's what you want, right? And so, and I want to tell you the important thing that Albert Einstein once said, that compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. Learn how to use it, or it'll be used against you. And this is what happens every single day. For people who use, for instance, credit cards unwisely, that interest component they pay when they don't pay off their credit cards is actually a compound interest. It's not a simple interest. Very important in mathematics to know the difference between a simple interest and a compound interest. And it'll be used against you. In fact, when it comes to things like banking and credit cards, if you don't watch out, you can get yourself into spiraling debt because you don't understand the power of compound interest. But if you learn how to use compound interest, just like in the cryptocurrencies I was talking about, you can become wealthy easily because you've understood the power of compound interest, just like Albert Einstein did. So if you want to be like Albert Einstein, or you want to be a sailor or a pilot, or actually many things, just understand that maths, not only is it important, it can actually be a lot of fun. Trust me.